devotional service to the second class devotional position. In the second class position, the devotee can see four principles in the devotional line, namely the personality of Godhead, his devotees, the ignorant, and the envious. One has to raise himself at least to the stage of second class devotee and thus become eligible to know the absolute truth. A third class devotee, therefore, has to receive the instructions of devotional service from the authoritative sources of Bhagavata. The number one Bhagavata is the established personality of devotee, and the other Bhagavatam is the message of Godhead. The third class devotee, therefore, has to go to the personality of devotee in order to learn the instruction of devotional service. Such a personality of devotee is not a professional man who earns his livelihood by business of Bhagavatam. Such devotee must be representative of Shukadeva Goswami like Suta Goswami and must preach the cult of devotional service for the all around benefit of all people. A neophyte devotee has very little taste for hearing from the authorities. Such a neophyte devotee makes a show of hearing from the professional man to satisfy his senses. This sort of hearing and chanting has spoiled the whole thing. So one should be very careful about faulty process. The holy messages of Godhead as inculcated in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam are undoubtedly transcendental subjects. But even though they are so, such transcendental matters are not to be received from the professional man, who spoils them as serpent spoils the milk simply by the touch of his tongue. A sincere devotee must therefore be prepared to hear the Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Vedanta and other literatures left by the previous authorities or Goswamis for the benefit of his progress. Without hearing such literatures, one cannot make actual progress, and without hearing and following the instructions, the show of devotional service becomes worthless and therefore a sort of disturbance in the path of devotional service. Unless therefore devotional service is established on the principles of Shruti, Smriti, Purana or Pancharatra authorities, the make show of devotional service should at once be rejected. An unauthorized devotee should never be recognized as a pure devotee. By assimilation of such messages from the Vedic literatures, one can see the all-pervading localized aspect of the personality of Godhead within his own self constantly. This is called Samadhi. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So these are all the answers to the first question. Actually, in the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, sages headed by sages in the Naimisharanya headed by Shaunaka Rishi asked a few questions, 6 in numbers, to Suta Goswami. And the first question was, please tell us that which is ultimate good for the people in general. What is actually good? Or ultimate good? Ultimate good in the sense, not only for our material life, for actually our eternal life. So what is ultimate good for people in general? Ekantataha Shreyas. So in answer to this, Suta Goswami is explaining so many things in this chapter, beginning from your questions are very wonderful, and because this gives the opportunity to chant and hear about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the highest religion or highest occupational duty or dharma is that by which man can attain loving devotional service to the personality of Godhead. And if somebody does not get this kind of attraction to hear the glories of Vasudeva, then whatever we are doing is just a burden. Vishwakshena Notpad Shrama, it is just a burden or a unnecessary trouble. Therefore, dharma should never be used for increasing artha, increasing some material profits. Like in our childhoods, we all of us used to come to temple, but after coming to temple, what was our prayer to the Lord? We never used to show any gratitude towards the Lord. We just would ask some benedictions, like if we are student, we should get good marks. If we are not married, we should get a wife or a husband. If we are not got job, we should get a job. So like this, dharma we used to use for artha or kama, to either material profit or fulfilling material desires, right? But actually dharma is not meant for that. Dharma is meant for attaining the ultimate good or ultimate end of human form of life. What is that? That is moksha or liberation from the material bondage and attaining the eternal relationship with the eternal Lord in the eternal abode called Sanatana Dhamma. Okay. So then in the previous verse, what is that absolute truth? There are many sages, so they define the absolute truth or the highest truth. Absolute truth means what? Highest truth or Devottama Parama Purusha. Okay. So this is a technical term, supreme absolute truth. So actually it means the highest truth. So what that truth can be perceived in three aspects. What is that? Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Okay. Now how do we realize that truth? What is the process by which we can see God? This is the normal questions all of us have, or at least to the people when we preach, they will ask, okay, we will tell, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, come to temple, chant Hare Krishna, like what we are doing. They will ask two questions. One is, why should I do it? Okay. Then they will ask, can I see God? Okay. Or can you show me God? Or sometimes they will ask, have you seen God? How long you are doing this? So 6 months, 1 year, few years, 10 years. Okay. Have you seen God? Okay. So this is their question. So, and here in just 4 lines, actually this shloka is actually 2 lines only. We read it in English as 4 lines, but actually it is 2 lines. In these 2 lines, how to realize God is explained. Okay, just 2 lines. What is that? So, just like anything you have to achieve, first of all, there is a qualification of the student. Okay. Just like if you want to get into any good institutions like IIT, or you want to get a job in some big company, or so there is a preliminary qualification. Okay, that is first thing. Then there is a process. Okay, first you enter into the college or university, then you get involved in the process. Okay, now the student or the person who is trying to achieve any goal, his preliminary qualification and the process both should be authorized and bona fide. Otherwise, it will not benefit. So, if we do that, then naturally we will achieve success. Okay, this is natural for in all the spheres of life, whether it is a student or a businessman or a kshatriya or a brahmana, whoever it is. This is the standard process. First of all, our qualification and the process which we follow. Now, interestingly, Srila Prabhupada, the first line or the first half line of this shloka is Tashraddha Dana Munayaha. So, the preliminary qualification of a student is given. What is that? Shraddha Dana Muni. Shraddha Dana means, we know Shraddha means faith. All of us know that. Shraddha Dana means one who has faith. Okay. The preliminary qualification for any student is, or any person who want to realize God, is Shraddha. Therefore, even Rupa Goswami explains Adav Shraddha. So, preliminary stage, some basic Shraddha, Komala Shraddha. It may not be complete Shraddha, but at least Shraddha should be there. But here Prabhupada, in word to word translation and also in the word to word meaning and in the translation also, Shraddha he has not translated as faith or faithful. He has not translated. He has translated very unique translation it is. Actually, this is why we are able to advance in devotional service by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by reading these synonyms, translation and purport. So how he has translated it? Shraddha Dhana he has translated as seriously inquisitive. Shraddha Dhana, Shraddha is faith. And how it is related seriously inquisitive? Because this process is to realize God, right? If you have to realize, there has to be some eagerness, right? Like you want to get any degree or you want to achieve anything, there has to be some enthusiasm, some desire to know what is there, right? So here Shraddha Dhana, therefore Prabhupada has translated as seriously inquisitive. There are inquisitive people, but those who are serious. Because why we have to be serious and why we have to be inquisitive? Inquisitive we all know, because we don't know what is supreme absolute truth. So therefore we have to be inquisitive, otherwise we will not know. But why there has to be seriousness? Seriousness is because it is the absolute truth is not perceivable by senses. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyaihi. By our senses we cannot catch or we cannot perceive. Grahya, we cannot catch. Just like mind, we all say I have a mind, somebody is intelligent, he is less intelligent, he has ego, all these things. Where is that ego? Where is that good intelligence or not so good intelligence? We can perceive. And soul is even more subtle, we cannot perceive. At least intelligence, mind and ego we can observe by observing the person. Whereas soul, we cannot observe only. Where is the soul? So if we have to understand something which is not even perceivable by the senses, so we have to be very, very serious. It's not meant for somebody who is casual. Okay, let me hear, I do so many things, let me do this also. No, it is very, very serious business if we have to realize Atma only. And what to speak of Paramatma, who is even more subtle than the Atma, this Paramatma. And we are talking about that Paramatma. And if you see, even the material scientists, so they want to know actually the theory of everything. What is that element or what is that cause which has created all the causes? They are also searching. And if you see, they are super serious. Super serious in the sense, very, very serious. Because it's not easy to perceive that which is beyond our senses. Right? It's not easy. So, there has to be seriously inquisitive. Okay. And then Munayaha. Munayaha is generally, Muni means sage. Okay. But here Prabhupada translated as student. Student or sage. Actually, why it is again student? Because we think, okay, I am good, I have achieved something in life, let me learn this also. Then our serious will not be there. Why? Because we have already achieved something. If I gain this knowledge also, it is a additional bonus. If I don't gain also, my life will go on. This is common ideology in life. Whereas a student, he always know, I have a teacher, I don't know this, I have to learn this, I have to be respectful to the teacher, I have to follow what they say, I cannot be lazy, if they scold I have to keep quiet, right? So this is a student, there is a difference. So therefore in Bhagavad Gita, if you see, first Krishna and Arjuna, they were talking as friends. Arjuna understood, but the friendly talk, Krishna also will go on. 18 days of Mahabharata can go on 18 days of talk only, but their conclusion will not come, what Arjuna should do. Therefore Arjuna voluntarily chose to become student or disciple. Disciple means student only. Why? Because in that relationship, whatever Krishna says, Arjuna cannot refuse. Because in the beginning of second chapter, if you see, Arjuna in the first chapter is expressing his inability to do the war. Why? Because he is perplexed. What to do? As Kshatriya I have to fight, and as a disciple I cannot kill my teachers, I cannot kill my grandfather, I cannot kill my brothers. So now there is a dharma sammuda. Sammuda means there is a conflict between two dharmas, two duties. And then he tells this to Krishna, and then Krishna says, no, you are Kshatriya, Kshatriya should do your duty. Then actually Arjuna rejected it. If you see, he rejected. He said, no, I cannot kill my grandfather, I cannot kill my teacher, I cannot do this. And then he sat down. Then again he said, Shishyasteham shadimam travam prapannam. I am completely bewildered now, I cannot find out a solution. So, please accept me as your disciple. That means Arjuna voluntarily now he accepted Krishna. Now onwards what you say I will accept. I will do that. So Arjuna voluntarily accepted Krishna as his teacher or guru. So therefore our mind or our attitude should be of a student. Because if we don't have that attitude, we think, okay, let me hear what Prabhupada says. If I like, I will accept. If I don't like, I will not accept. If it is difficult to understand, I will not read. I will skip that chapter. I will, whatever I like, whatever I can understand, I will do. After all, it is said, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya, little also you do, that is also great. Why you have to be worried about, you do little, your advancement will be little only. Little, it may take many lifetime also to realize the absolute truth. Or if we want to realize in very short time, then we have to be very, very serious. Whether we understand and don't understand doesn't matter. We have to apply our mind, we have to apply our body, our senses, we have to apply our intelligence, we have to apply our ego. Everything we have, whatever we have in our possession, we have to apply. Then, after that also we have to wait for the mercy of the Lord. So there is a very nice shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita, wherein if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is another very unique presentation of the absolute truth. If you see, Chaitanya Charitamrita is divided into Adi Lila, Madhya Lila and Antya Lila. And in Adi Lila, the Leelas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's basically Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's Leelas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just like how Bhagavatam is Leela or pastimes of Lord Krishna. But here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela is not directly presented. First 12 chapters, the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explained. Then in the 13th chapter onwards, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, all those Leelas are explained. So Siddhanta or the philosophy is presented in first 12 chapters. And in second chapter, one very important shloka comes. I think some of you might know all this already. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says, Siddhanta baliye chitte nakara alas. Iha haite Krishna lage sudrida manas. So he says, don't become lazy thinking that this is Siddhanta is difficult to understand. Don't become lazy. Who is saying this? Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Don't become lazy. Why? Iha haite, if you understand this Siddhanta, Tattva, then Krishna lage sudruda manas. Our mind will get fixed unto the lotus feet of Krishna. Right? So that's actually devotional service is what? Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. Our mind should be fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna. And how to fix? We will see, okay, Krishna, we keep remembering Krishna, mind will fix. No. If mind has to get fixed on Krishna, we have to have very seriousness, and we have to understand. To understand that which is not perceivable, we have to be more serious. So that's the point here. Then in the purport, there are many wonderful things. Few things we will try to cover. First thing, the absolute truth is realized in full by the process of devotional service to the Lord. So now this tattva, vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam, which is Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan, can be realized, Prabhupada is saying, by the process of devotional service, bhakti. Okay. Why? Because Brahman is what? Brahman is a bodily effulgence of God or Krishna. Then Paramatma is what? Paramatma is the partial representation of Krishna. So in other words, if we understand Krishna, we will understand Krishna's other features also. Right? Like if you want to know about Ratan Tata, you go to any Tata factory and keep on understanding about the factory. You may understand about the factory, you may understand some aspects of Ratan Tata also, with some principles or something which he had given. He might have given, based on those principles, that factory might be running. But we cannot understand the person Ratan Tata by going to a Tata factory, right? So we have to, but if we understand Ratan Tata, we can easily understand the factories or the companies which he has opened, why he has opened, how is he running, why is he running, all these things we can easily understand. So therefore, the understanding of Brahman or Paramatma is not complete process. So but if we understand the Bhagavan aspect of the absolute truth, then other two aspects are included in that, right? Like if Prabhupada gives this example, which Shastras also give, if we understand the sun god entering into the sun planet, so we also understand sun shine and sun planet also. So it's like that. Okay, and coming back to who can understand this absolute truth, so human beings are divided into four categories: karmis, jnanis, yogis and bhaktas. We all know this, so I will not explain what are these. And karmis are materialists. Karmis means they want to do karma, and after that karma they will gain some phala, karma phala, and they want to enjoy that. They are called karmis. So they don't want to know anything about the absolute truth or anything which is beyond the body. So therefore they are called karmis. The other three categories of people who are jnanis, yogis and devotees. These are very small category. It's not that 25% are karmis, 25% are jnanis. It's not like that. 99.9% are karmis. Only 0.01% are karmis, jnanis and devotees altogether. Like 8 billion people are there in this planet. How many people are interested in spiritual life? It's not some 800 million, that's 10%, or 80 million, that is the 80 million is 8 crore. No, it's only few lakhs or very few thousands or few lakhs people only, right? So karmis, jnanis, yogis and devotees. So now among all these three are called transcendentalists. Why? Because they want to transcend the material plane and to understand what is higher plane, what is absolute truth, what is beyond this material world, what is beyond this material body. They want to understand what is beyond this material body and what is beyond this material world. So they are trying to understand. So they are all called transcendentalists because they want to transcend. Now among these three, who is the first class? First class are the devotees. Why? We already explained. Why? Because devotees follow the path of bhakti yoga. And then jnanis, who want to understand the Brahman aspect, the all-pervading Brahman aspect, so they follow the process of jnana. And there are yogis who want to realize the Paramatma feature of the Lord in their own heart. They follow the process of Ashtanga yoga. This is general. This is okay. Now, among all these three, the process, because the jnanis will not realize the Bhagwan aspect, so their realization is not highest, and the process which they are following, that is also not highest. If their process was perfect, student may be good, seriously inquisitive, but their process is not perfect. So therefore, they will not achieve highest perfection. So this is the importance of the process. Okay, and yogis, those who follow Ashtanga Yoga, their process is also faulty. Why? Because they will not achieve the realization of the absolute truth as Bhagavan. So therefore, and because their goal itself is to realize the Paramatma. Okay. Now, what is the origin of Paramatma? Krishna is saying, Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto. I am the one who is sitting in everyone's heart. Okay. So even if we realize Paramatma, that is not the complete understanding or complete realization of the absolute truth. So therefore, their process by which they realize the absolute truth as Paramatma, that process also is faulty. Faulty in the sense, incomplete. So that's how we have to understand the importance of the process called the Bhakti Yoga. Now, coming back to Bhakti Yoga has to be done also. Generally, Bhakti means sentiment, right? Sentiment, bhav dikhav. So especially in northern side of India, and if you see holy places like Vrindavan, some people will come. They come normally, suddenly they will raise their hand and then they will start dancing, jumping, all these things. So, and after a few minutes they will get tired, so they will go back and ask, "Yahan pe chai milega? Can I get tea here?" Why? Because according to them they did bhakti for a few minutes. Being in the temple hall, they did bhakti. What is that bhakti? So they danced, they cried, sometimes they rolled on the floor also, sometimes like that. So that is not bhakti. Now coming back to what is bhakti, now that is explained by Jiva Goswami. He says, so this bhakti should be based on what? It should be based on our imagination, because bhava means emotion. I should have some bhava. So I create bhava in my heart, right? I will create. So this is how I feel towards the Lord, and that feeling I am expressing. No, that is not bhava. That is sentiment. That is not devotional sentiment. That is mental speculation. Because why? My mind says, oh, God means this. My relationship with God should be expressed in this way. Who is telling this? My mind is telling. So therefore it is called mental speculation. So actual bhava, or the actual devotional sentiment, which is called sadbhavana. It is not bhava, it is called sadbhavana. Sat bhavana. Sat means what? Satya. Satya means what? Truth. And we are trying to know the absolute truth. Parama Satya. So that Satya, where is it mentioned? So what bhava we should have? So that is explained by Jiva Goswami. That shloka is there and Prabhupada has translated here. The shloka goes like this: Shruti Smruti Puranadi Pancharatri Vidhim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utvatevai Kalpate. Shruti Smruti Puranadi Pancharatri Vidhim Vina. So our bhakti, or our devotional sentiments, or our devotional service cannot be based on our mental speculation. It should be rather based on Shruti, the Vedas, Smruti, the Puranas, Shruti, Smruti, Puranadi, Pancharatri Vidhi. And how to perform devotional service, like how to offer bhoga to the Lord, how to do arti to the Lord, how to perform abhisheka to the Lord, and how to dress the Lord. All these things are Pancharatri Vidhi. We are not concocting. We should not concoct. We should not add anything also, and we should not delete anything also. So this process, one who follows, that process is a standard process. Now when the student is seriously inquisitive, and the process is standard, then we can expect to progress thoroughly in the process of devotional service. Now Prabhupada again here warns us about the professional reciters of Bhagavatam. So now we have concluded that we should follow the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the process, right? Now there are professional Bhagavatam reciters. Again, they will recite the Bhagavatam, and then what are the emotions which are expressed in the Bhagavatam? The devotees of the Lord, they express the emotions, devotional bhavas, sadbhavanas towards the Lord, and then they will carefully note those things. And when they give Bhagavatam classes like this, which is generally called Bhagavat Saptaha, they will explain that pastime, some pastime of Dhruva Maharaj or Krishna, or some pastime which is there in Bhagavatam. And then during the while explaining the pastime, suddenly there will be tears in their eyes, their voice will choke, all these things. And seeing this, the people will get bewildered. You see, unless you have devotion to the Lord, how can these sentiments come about? That means this person must have devotion. This is how we can get, those cheat, and then there are people who get cheated also. Right? So how do we know what is this? Whether it is a true bhavana or anything. So I was just reading some things. So in which Prabhupada, he never expressed his bhava. Prabhupada is pure devotee, all of us know. He never cried in the public, he never cried, rolled on the ground. We never see these things happening. Why? First of all, these bhavanas, these expressions, we should not imitate. And if we imitate, what will happen? We may get cheap puja pratishtha labha, cheap adoration, cheap profit in the material world. But absolute truth we will not be able to achieve. So, therefore, Prabhupada says, an unauthorized devotee should never be recognized as a pure devotee. Now, how do we know whether somebody is a pure devotee or not pure devotee? Why we have to know? Because that I will explain later. First of all, we have to recognize who is a pure devotee. Why? Because we need a teacher, right? Now we have accepted ourselves as student. That means we need a teacher, right? So how do we recognize the teacher? So if we go by the external manifestations like crying, rolling on the ground, etc., then so many people can imitate that. Like film actors, they if you give them, you have to be act like a pure devotee, they will act better than all of us, right? We are chanting Hare Krishna mantra for many years, but we cannot enact chanting of Hare Krishna mantra or dancing in ecstasy as movie actors, right? We are not as good. So how do we know who is actually a pure devotee? So pure devotee we can know only by understanding. Prabhupada gives very simple explanation. Just observe that person 24 hours. Don't observe that 2 hours. Just like actor. When the director says action, then all the bhava will come out. Then when the director says cut, then all bhava will go away. He is into regular mood of drinking, smoking, or whatever he is doing. So similarly, these Bhagavata reciters, we are whoever it is, who present themselves as devotees, study them 24 hours. Don't accept them just, okay, see, he is giving very nice class, so therefore he is my guru. No, understand what he is doing. That is one thing. Somebody may be doing very, what Shastra is saying, he might be doing 24 hours also. Still, we have to understand whether that person's understanding is what he speaks is same as what the Guru's sadhu Shastra says. Is he adding anything? Is he deleting something? Or he is speaking as it is, whether people like it or don't like it. Prabhupada says that we are selling diamonds. Generally, sometimes devotees and sometimes the visitors of Prabhupada would tell, Swamiji, you are too strict. You can be little lenient. Then more followers will come. Then Prabhupada would answer, we don't want many followers. We are selling diamonds. Those who are serious, those who can afford diamond, they will come. We are here to create moons. We are not into stars. Like in night, there are hundreds of stars. but there is one moon. Everybody will look at moon or stars. So moon. So therefore we are interested in creating one moon. If my whole movement, if I can create one pure devotee, that is the success of my movement, Prabhupada would tell. So therefore, we have to be very seriously hear what they say and observe what they speak, what they do in the whole day, and also we should compare this with whether it is in line with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. It cannot be simply a concoction or some addition, deletion, all these things. And we should ask them, what is the highest absolute truth? Is it merging into the God, or realizing Paramatma, or understanding the absolute truth as Bhagwan? So, if by this one question also we will understand what is their understanding. If they say all are same, you are getting confused, all are same, that means we know that he is Mayavadi. Right? If they say everything is same, that means he is a Mayavadi. Right? So, like this. So, this is the process by which we can understand. Now, student is ready, then we have understood the teacher, then what is the process? The process is Gnana Vairagya Yuktaya. One should be equipped with knowledge and detachment. Knowledge and detachment. And what is this knowledge? That knowledge is explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So, I will not go into details, but one important shloka is Krishna explains, to understand that knowledge, approach a guru. Right? Krishna says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam. That gnana or knowledge will be given gnaninas tattvadarshinaha, one who has seen the truth. One who has seen the truth can give you the knowledge of the truth. So, who is that? That is Guru. So, how to approach Guru? It is explained, Tadvidhi pranipatena, we have to surrender, pariprashnena, we have to seriously inquisitive. That means we have to ask questions. Prabhupada says that Guru will explain everything. Then why to ask question? Guru will explain everything. Have you understood? That's the point. Guru has realized the absolute truth. Whether we have understood the absolute truth, we have realized the absolute truth. So we have to understand. We have to, even whether our understanding is proper, we may think we have understood. Whether really we have understood, how do we know? When we ask questions. Intelligent question means, that means we are inquisitive, we have heard it properly, right? Like Arjuna, the questions he asks, Krishna he explains about something in 7th chapter, by following this process he will understand Adhyatma. So immediately Arjuna asks question in the 8th chapter, Kim dat Brahma, Kim Adhyatma, what is that Brahman, what is the Adhyatma, like this, right? And then Krishna tells one should be careful about kama, okay, or sinful activity. Then Arjuna immediately asks, what is that impelling me to act sinfully in the 3rd chapter, right? So like this, Arjuna is very attentive, and the attentive questions he is asking. So Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, and seva, we have to as a menial servant we have to serve the spiritual master. Then only spiritual master will bestow the complete knowledge by which we can realize the absolute truth. So this is knowledge. And detachment. What is detachment? Detachment from anything other than what Guru has told. So therefore every day we sing Guru Puja, that Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chittete Koriya Aikya. Whatever Guru says, we have to make it one with our intelligence. Or in our mind we should not have anything other than what Guru says. Arana Koriyo Mane Asha. There is no other desire other than what Guru has told. This is the process. So this is called actually detachment. And actually there is a prayer for the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is what? Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. Actually this Vairagya can be followed just by following the Bhakti Yoga. Actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us about Vairagya Vidya. And how to do this Vairagya Vidya? Actually if you see, not so much explained about Vairagya Vidya. More explanation is given about Bhakti Yoga. Right? If you follow Bhakti Yoga, everything else is naturally detached, right? Just like a child is going to the school, he has to give up his attachment which he has, like some toy he has in his house, some other things, he will be running around in the house. All those activities he has to give up if he has to go to school. So similarly, just by engaging in Bhakti Yoga, detachment will come, and knowledge also will come. Okay, ಜ್ಞಾನ ವೈರಾಗ್ಯ ಯುಕ್ತಯ ಪಶ್ಯಂತಿ ಆತ್ಮನಿ ಚಾತ್ಮಾನಂ ಭಕ್ತ್ಯ ಶ್ರುತಗೃಹೀತಯ. Now, actually speaking, to a more or less extent, we are following all these things, right? I will just take few minutes more. We are following all these things, yet we have not realized the absolute truth, or and we also don't know exactly whether in 6 months we are going to realize, 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, we don't know, right? There is a we don't know actually when we are going to realize the absolute truth. Why this is? This is because the gap of knowing and doing. We all know what we have heard in today's class. I don't think I have told anything new, right? Most of these things all of you would have heard. Then why we are not realizing the absolute truth? What is there lacking? So that Prabhupada explains here. Let me find that out. Yeah, okay. Yes, devotional service which is based on the foreground of full knowledge and combined with detachment from material association, which is fixed by the oral reception of Vedanta Shruti, is the only perfect method by which the seriously inquisitive student can realize the absolute truth. So regarding this is a very important line in this. What it is saying is, we have to have two things. So the one thing is, we have to perform devotional service with knowledge. How to perform, like chanting. How to perform devotional chanting? We know the process. We have to chant distinctly and hear attentively and count how many times we are chanting. So this is the process. This is the vidhi. Okay, this is how we have to do devotional service, and it should be combined with detachment. Detachment means anything else we should not do. Otherwise, in other words, we should avoid the offenses, right? There are 10 offenses. I will not go into the details. So one of the main important offense is inattentive chanting, right? So this is, now we know the process, that we have to chant attentively, chant and hear attentively. Then we also know that we are inattentive, right? So there is a knowing and doing gap, right? Okay, so now why there is a gap? We may say that we are still attached to material objects or material things. Therefore, we are not able to give complete attention to the holy name, because we are attached to so many other things. Like when we are chanting, our mind will think, okay, today who will give class, or what will be there for breakfast, or after this program where should I go. All this, either future or past. We will be keep on thinking about our future or past. Therefore, we are not able to give full attention. This is common. This is the reality. So now how do we come out of this? So yes, devotional service which is based on the foreground of full knowledge combined with detachment from material association, which is fixed by, now how to get detached or how to get attached, which is fixed by oral reception of Vedanta Shruti. Actually, if we have to completely get attached to the devotional service and get detached from everything else, it is not easy. Just we hear once and then everything will fall into place. No. Just like students also, when they go and study something, they will hear one time from the teacher, right? But if they think, now I have heard, I have understood, and then the reality will be known when we attend the exam, right? Whether really we have understood or we thought we understood. Now, how do we confirm that we have understood? That is based on, which is fixed on the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti. That means, now anything we do, there has to be a thinking, feeling, willing, right? That means, if we are doing something, there has to be a proper thinking for that, proper feeling for that, proper willing for that. For example, I will give you, let's say there is a mother or a father, and then they are taking care of their child. Okay. Now there has to be a proper thinking that this is my child. A mother and father will not take care of any child. They have to take care of their child. So for that their understanding should be there, this is my child. Let's say mother and father forget that that child is theirs. Then they will not be able to take care. So that means we have to understand that proper thinking has to come in us. That is by hearing the Shruti, or by hearing from spiritual master, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, which we are also doing. Then what is the next step? By thinking it is sufficient? No, it is not sufficient. Then there has to be a feeling. There has to be a feeling that this is my child. That is there. If this is my child, what is my duty? I have to take care of this child. I have to feed this child. I have to dress this child. I have to send this child to the school. So many things are there, right? That feeling also has to be awakened. Of course, in the material world, parents will get naturally that affection. Most of the parents, it's very easy. Of course, in Kali Yuga, some parents don't have that affection for children. That is different. But naturally, parents have children. Parents have affection for the children. That feeling is naturally there. Whereas now, we don't have that natural feeling towards Krishna. Of course, it is there, but it is not coming out. So for that, what we have to do? We have to contemplate. We have to contemplate. Just like sometimes it so happens that a girl and boy get married, and then boy or girl, they are not feeling that she is my wife or he is my husband. Why? I don't feel like that. So then parents will come, then some friends will come and preach them. She is your wife, he is your husband, this is your duty, you have to understand and you have to do all these things. You cannot be lazy. So then when they hear, that person also has to contemplate. If he simply says, okay, you told nicely, I liked it, now you please go back to your home, then no feeling will awaken. If feeling has to awaken, that is called bhavana. Sadbhavana has to awaken. We have to do this contemplation. This contemplation is very, very important. That is called fixed on the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti. That means we are fixed on what we have heard. Now we have heard, that's all. We are not fixed on what we have heard. So that fixing has to happen by our own self. It's not that we keep on hearing, it will happen. No, we have to hear and contemplate. If Prabhupada says, you are not this body, you are spirit soul, if Krishna says, we have to understand how I am not this body, how I am spirit soul. When we realize, when we accept that I am not this body, I am spirit soul, naturally our activities will become soul's activities. That means bodily activities will not affect us. Like Krishna says, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkhada. So material body will be undergoing Sukha, Dukkha, heat, cold, pleasure, pain, all these things. But we will not be bewildered. We think, I am not this body, why I should be bewildered? Just like our neighbor is happy, unhappy, how does it matter? It is our neighbor, let him live however he wants. Right? But we feel happiness or pain, we will feel, oh, I am feeling pain. Let's say our scooter or car was parked and then it is stolen. We will feel so much, right? And neighbor's car is stolen, we are okay. So this is the point. So that feeling will come when we contemplate. Of course, that feeling is already there in the soul, but it is now covered up. It is sleeping state. So to awaken, we have to do this contemplation. Thinking, feeling, and then thinking, feeling, then willing. We have to engage also. Now all the feeling I have, Prabhu, now I feel completely Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. I completely understood, and then I have a lot of feeling in my heart. Express your feeling by engaging in devotional service. So therefore Prabhupada translates bhakti as devotional service. If you are serving, that means you are expressing, just like mother is cooking food for the child. That means mother is expressing the feeling towards the child by her activities, right? Father is going to pick up the child from the school. That father can say, no, or mother can say, I have all the feeling for my child. So, but you will not cook. So what the child will eat? So we have to be very, very careful. We have to be very intelligent enough to understand this thinking, feeling and willing. Now this contemplation, again I'll close with this. This contemplation we have to be careful. We should not do when we are doing the activity of devotional service. Like when we are driving, okay, so we have to be careful of the road. Now how many vehicles are nearby, I have to take left, right, stop, green signal is there, I have to move, red signal is there, I have to stop. All these things we have to be aware of what is happening in the current reality. You cannot be thinking, now I am going to my mother's house, or I am going to temple, after going to temple I will do this, and your dhyana is gone, and then there will be accident. Right? So similarly, when we are doing devotional service, that time we should not think, okay, Krishna, I am part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is so beautiful. All these things we should not think. Suppose, for example, the best example is chanting. In chanting, what is the vidhi? Vidhi is you chant Hare Krishna and hear the same word, hear the same sound. This is the vidhi. We cannot think Krishna is so beautiful, Krishna plays flute, when I meet Krishna, what I will tell Krishna, all these things we should not do. The contemplation that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how different devotees have realized, all this contemplation we should do off japa time. Means when we are not doing the main activity of devotional service, when we are reading, and then we have to contemplate and be ready for next day's devotional service. That is chanting. Chanting, I am giving many times example. The chanting, the same thing is applicable for any other service also, right? So therefore, and this is called, and when we are sufficiently contemplated on these things, this will naturally come out when we are chanting. For example, a stranger comes in front of me. I don't know anything, right? So no feeling will come, no thinking will, nothing will. I have to ask now. Who are you? Why you have come? What is your name? All these things. Let's say a person who comes, whom I already know. So all the background will come into my mind immediately, right? So, but I cannot be thinking. Let's say somebody is there, my friend is in front of me. If I start thinking, oh, I met this friend 10 years back, we had good times, we used to live in Bangalore. That friend is in front of you. We have to talk now to that friend. Right? So, similarly, japa means Lord is in front of us. Now we have to receive this Lord as a holy name who has come in front of us. So we have to attentively hear. Now who is this Lord? That contemplation we should have done, or earlier, or if you have not done also, no problem. That time you should not do. That time we should not do. So we have to, when we are chanting, we just have to hear. So this is called foreground mind and background mind. So foreground, we are doing the activity of devotional service with detachment. And background, we know why we are doing, who is this personality called Krishna, what is this holy name, how this holy name is non-different from Krishna, how just by chanting this holy name we will go back home, back to Godhead, we will achieve our eternal life, how I myself am the part and parcel of this Krishna. So all these things are the process of reading, understanding, contemplating during the off japa time. Right? Like for example, you are hearing the class. Now you should not, while hearing you cannot contemplate. Some things you remember which you have already heard, it's different. So if I say Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, which Purana it is said, then you will miss what I am hearing next. So this is called contemplation we have to do after japa time, and then when we are doing japa, we have to chant and hear. So this is what is explained in this. So when we do this, when we do with not only with thinking, with feeling, that is called sadbhavana, then very quickly we will realize, because when that sadbhavana is there, our attention is complete. When our attention is complete, that means we are directly touching the Lord. It is not possible that we directly touch the Lord and we don't realize. Right? Like I am seeing you, I cannot say I saw you but I did not realize I saw you. How is it possible? I saw you means I saw you, I touched you means I touched you. I spoke to you means I spoke to you. I cannot say I spoke to you but I did not realize that I spoke to you. How is it possible? Not possible. So if we touch the Lord, we will really realize that we have touched the Lord. So that is what is explained in this. Tachshraddha dana munayo gnana vairagya yuktaya pashyanti atmani chatmanam. We will pashyanti, we will see. It is not said we will realize. It's complete. It's said we will realize that we have seen the Lord, absolute truth, atmani chatmanam, by the endeavor of our own Ichha Shakti and different Shaktis which we have in our body and mind and soul. All these Shaktis, when we apply to realize the absolute truth, we will realize the absolute truth because we are following the sure process of Bhaktya Shruta Grihitya. We are doing devotional service, which is the authorized process, and we are doing devotional service based on the Shrutis or the authorized process of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Okay, I will stop here. I think it's late. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,